Hi, I'm Jason Stahl, editor of Body Shop Business. The collision repair industry continues to innovate with products to help shops be more productive and lower costs. At the 2018 SEMA, Evercoat won the SEMA New Product Award for their OPTEX body filler that changes colors as it cures. This past year at SEMA, Evercoat launched a new OPTEX product. It's OPTEX Super Build 4-to-1 primer that has a built-in guide coat. Joining me today is Tim McKinney, Senior Application Engineer from Evercoat, to tell us about the OPTEX family of products. Tim, Evercoat must have been thrilled when they won the SEMA Innovation Award.
Oh, absolutely, Jason. It was an award for us that we weren't even expecting to be into for a product that had never really been into that category before. Something innovative for us to be able to bring to the table that can do something so advantageous for the technicians, and we're really excited to have that in the other products here as well.
So, Tim, explain to me, what is OPTEX?
OPTEX is a range of products that we have out now. We have Rage OPTEX, we have Metal Glaze OPTEX, and we have the Super Build OPTEX. Now, what the OPTEX really entails is there's an optical transition of colors. So what that means is the product is going to start off one color and it's going to end up going to another color. So the OPTEX filler we have here, the Rage OPTEX, that product is going to start off as a pink. You add the blue cream hardener into it, and you'll actually watch a color transition. We'll show you here in just a second, where it goes from a pink down to a green. The putty does the same thing. The Metal Glaze putty starts off as kind of a lavender color. We use the cream hardener in with it. It makes the color transition to go to a green. Now what the OPTEX Super Build does is it sprays pink, it stays pink, but the pink is a built-in guide coat. So you sand off the pink and then it goes to a gray underneath of it. So we brought these products out to help the technicians have a visual reference to when they're working with the materials. When we brought the product out during the field trials of this particular products, we had a lot of technicians saying, I was able to go do something else. So instead of standing there with a sanding block, waiting to sand on their material, they could go over and work on another car. They could put the headlight down. They could reassemble the interior and look over across the shop and see that, okay, it's changed colors. I can go sand on it. So if they had a job they were trying to get through the process very quickly, as soon as they saw the color shift, they knew that they could go ahead and sand on it versus standing there and picking or waiting or watching the clock. So they didn't have to think about it. The product told them when it was ready to be worked on.
All right, Tim, well, why don't you show us how it works?
Sure. Let me show you the filler here first. I'll mix up a little bit of product here, and we'll spread some down on this lower area. So the same as the other products, we want to open it up, and as you can see from the pinkish color, it's a noticeable difference in terms of color change from other products that are out there. We still want to mix the product up. Get up a little bit of product. So because this contains the eco resin, we're going to be able to apply this directly over top of a sanded clear coat surface. So we're going to mix this up the same way as we did our other products. We actually have a sticker on top of the can that helps the technician see how to mix the product up for a 2-inch puddle, 4-inch puddle, and an 8-inch puddle. So this puddle's about 4 inches, a little bit more. So we want to run a bead of hardener at least from edge to edge. So even if it just touches both sides, and we're going to mix this product up. And we're using the same hardener as our regular product. So this uses the Evercoat cream hardener that's got the blue on here that tells them it's an Evercoat product. It's also got the larger caps, another indicator that it's the Evercoat materials. And we'll mix this. All right, so I'll spread up some product right out here. Same as the other products, we want to put on a very thin coat first, just wet the surface. And then slowly fill it up. The first thing most people notice about this particular product is how smooth and glossy it is. If you take a look at it, if you've ever worked with a putty, this has a look very similar to a putty. It's very smooth, it's very creamy, it's very glossy, and the product actually does not need to have a putty put over top of it. It's a putty in and of itself, over itself. So if you had a low spot or any kind of surface imperfection, what you could do is just apply this product over itself to fill in those pinholes, micro pinholes, low spots, and it's going to sand at the same rate. So it makes it a lot easier for the technicians. They don't need to have two products in the shop.
All right, Tim, what do we got here?
All right, so now you can see it's made that color shift. It's dried. So we started off, it went from a pink to to a green. So that tells me now I'm ready to actually sand on this repair material. Now, like we're talking about, this is a filler. So I would use this for heavier applications, for dense, deeper fills. But if I'm only going to be doing a repair for something like door dings, hail damage, key scratches, I could use a product like our metal glaze OPTEX. So that would be, for the smaller fill applications. So large repairs and small repairs. So let me show you how that mixes up.
Okay.
So before I get too far into it, one thing I want to bring up is we've been using these colored spreaders here. Well, what we did is, if you notice, we made that so that's the color of what the OPTEX is going to be when it's ready to sand. So that lets you know that's a visual indicator that the product's been properly catalyzed and it's ready to sand. Same thing for the OPTEX putty, and I'll show you how it mixes up here. Take a little bit of the putty. Same thing for the hardener. It's about a 4-inch. We're going to go edge to edge here. And then we're going to come in here and apply a little bit right there. Same thing as before with the filler. First application goes on super thin, just to wet the surface. And then we slowly build it up. If you notice how smooth and glossy it looks.
Yeah.
Smooth it out a little bit, make it a little bit easier to sand. All right. And now we'll let that one kick off.
Okie doke, Tim, where do we stand?
All right, so both of these now, remember they started off, this was kind of a pinkish color, went to that green. This one started off as kind of a lavender or purplish color, also went to the green. And again, we started out with that color, so it lets us know that we've made a color shift, that both of these are going to be ready to sand. So after I'd done the repair with either of these products, what I would do is I would sand them down with 180 grit like I did in one of the other videos. I'd put the 440 Express over the top of it, help fine fill any micro pinholes we might possibly have on that. And then after I've done that, the product that we would put over top of it that makes a great segue for the polyester technology would be to actually put the OPTEX Super Build over top of it. Now, this is a little bit different. What this is going to do is it's going to spray pink, it's going to stay pink. And what that does is the pink is going to be a built-in guide coat. So it mixes at a 4:1 ratio. It's direct to metal, gives you 500 hour salt spray corrosion resistance. Again, because it's going to have that pink as the built-in guide coat, any of your high spots are going to sand to a gray first. Any of your low spots are going to remain pink. So you sand off all the guide coat on it and continue on with the repair process. But because the guide coat's built in, it saves all that time and aggravation from having to come back and put the black guide coat all over the repair. If you're doing a whole panel, the guide coat's already built in when you're spraying it. So it saves a lot of time and energy for the customers.
Tim, can you spray over this?
Over the pink? Well, no, because it is a guide coat. It's much like if you would put the black powder coat over top of it. It's a guide coat, so it needs to be sanded off. So let's say for a scenario as you're sanding on it, you have a low spot, and that low spot's still pink. Well, we want you to scuff that area, remove the pink, then apply something into it. So if it's a low spot where you need to put in a putty or a filler, you could use either of these two products or even one of the Ultra products in that area, sand it smooth, and then reapply something over top of it. But you want to make sure you remove all the pink before you put a paint over top of it or before you come back and put any other kind of product over top of it to fill in those low spots or defects.
Okay.
So the whole benefit for the OPTEX systems is going to be able to give them a visual reference, save time, save money, and help them through the collision repair process.
Tim, thank you so much for the information today in the demonstration. It's obvious the OPTEX line of products is about many things, namely productivity, efficiency, throughput, and quality. Thanks again for your time. I'm Jason Stahl. Thanks for watching.